The practicum project A is for Apple can be used to teach young children the ABCs of the alphabet and associating various words with each letter. It's a very simple interface. In that there is one control, which is a picture box that will display various images based on which key is clicked on the keyboard. Initially it'll show this title, but if we click an A, it'll show the image for A is for Apple and Ant. The images are all provided in our Canvas course site. There's a restriction here in that while there are other ways to do this perhaps a little more efficiently, you're limited to using select case and handling the key down, or you could choose to use key press or key up if you prefer. So we're going to create our user interface. I created my form a little bit larger than the size of the images, so 785 by 630. I gave it a back color of white. And it's important to remember to set the key preview property to true so it handles the key events. Then for our Visual Basic code, I handled the key down and took the key code and converted it to string so that rather than working with the numeric values of key down, 65 for an A, 66 for a B, and so forth, made it a little more readable by converting it to a string and using uppercase A, uppercase B, uppercase C, and so forth as my matches. Make sure when you test every single letter that the appropriate image comes up, and then you'll zip that project together and submit it with your weekly reflection. Here's the project running in Microsoft Windows. If I press an A on the keyboard, I get the A screen for A is for Apple and Ant, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. If I press a numeric key such as the 1, I go back to the title screen. Same if I press, say, a comma, I go back to the title screen. So the case else of my select case is taking me back to the title screen. I'm pretty confident you can do this on your own, so pause the video here, but if you struggle, you can watch my code review which follows. For the user interface, I set the form text to A is for Apple and set the key preview to true. Now in this case we have no controls that take keyboard input, and if you leave it set to false it'll still work, but it's a good habit to get into. If you're going to handle the key events at the form level, set the key preview to true. My form size, 785 by 630, and I set the back color to white to give me this little white border around the images. The only control on this form is a picture box that I named pick letter. For the image, I went into the project resource file and imported all of the images here. That puts them in the resources folder. It makes it easy access. Alternatively, you can right click on the resources folder and add those as existing files. So the image is initially set to the title screen. I set the size of that to 750 by 570, which corresponds to the size of all the images. That's it for the interface. For the code, I created an event handler called change letter that is handling mybase.keyDown. That's the keydown event for the form. Select case. I'm taking E from our key event args, which contains a property called key code. That's going to be the integer value of the keys, like 65 for an A, 66 for a B, 67 for a C. And while we could work with that in our cases, I think it's easier to convert that to a string. So now we have case A, case B, case C, and so forth. With case A, we're going to set the image of pick letter to my.resources A. And that's the a.jpg, a.jpg. I'm going to set for B, set the image to myresources.b, and so forth, all the way down through the line for all the letters down to Z, which is myresources.z, And then the case else, I'm setting it to the 0_title. Now because the image starts with the number, we need to put an underscore in front of the 0. Alternative is you could change that file name to title.jpg. However, when you type in my resources dot, you're going to get the IntelliSense where you can select the image that you want, and notice here's the 0 title. So it shows it as is named in the resources. So use the IntelliSense to your advantage if you need it. But that's my solution. I hope you enjoyed this fun little project. If you just jumped into this video, you can see all the videos from the Programming Practicum playlist by clicking on the image in the lower right. And if you'd like to be alerted to future videos I create, you can click my picture in the top right to subscribe to the channel.